Welcome back to the Deep Dives. Today, we're diving headfirst into something pretty universal, but wow, is it complex, love.
Yeah, love. We're going to try and peel back some layers, look at how a relationship actually develops, from that first little spark to something, well, deeper, lasting.
Exactly. And forget the, filtered Instagram version. This is about the real journey. Sometimes messy, often surprising, but definitely real.
And for this deep dive, we've got some really interesting source material. Excerpts from conversation between a couple, Jake and Lily. It's from The Pod in Love. From awkward meet-cute to real intimacy.
A real couple talking candidly.
That's right. And our mission here is to kind of give you a shortcut, maybe, to get really well informed about modern love by pulling out the insights, the surprising bits from their story. Think of it as a masterclass through their experience.
Okay, let's jump in. How did it all start for Jake and Lily, the meet-cute?
Right. So Jake describes himself as a, quote, hoodie-wearing overthinker. Just wanted some quiet time in a bookstore.
I can picture that.
And then there's Lily. He sees her. She's deep in some poetry, looking like a scene out at an indie film. His words.
Paints a picture, doesn't it? So how do they actually start talking? Smooth operator.
Not exactly. It sounds, well, refreshingly awkward, actually. Jake admitted he was just pretending to browse.
We've all been there.
Totally. And then his big move in what he called panic mode was asking where the restroom was.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not the smoothest line.
Definitely not. But here's the interesting part. That clumsiness, that vulnerability, it actually worked. It sort of disarmed Lily, maybe signaled he wasn't trying to be someone else.
So no pretense. It opened the door.
It really did. It allowed for something, well, authentic to start.
And it sounds like it took off from there. Willie said they skipped the small talk pretty fast.
Yeah, straight into the deep end. Books, music, exes, and mental health.
On a first meeting? That's bold. Or maybe just right for them. What was going on there?
Well, I think Jake's feeling about it is key. He said Lily felt real. And crucially, he felt he didn't have to try hard.
That sense of ease.
Exactly. He said, for once, that felt like enough. And, for anyone listening, that feeling of early comfort, of being able to just be yourself, that can be a much stronger sign of potential than some big dramatic spark.
Feeling seen right away.
Precisely, that internal congruence. It's powerful.
So after that bookstore meeting, things moved fast.
Seems like it. Lily mentions nonstop texts, voice notes, late-night calls, all the signs.
And that little internal thought she had, oh, no, I like him. That moment of realization.
Yeah, you can almost hear it, can't you? But the real shift, the moment things got significantly deeper, wasn't about the fun stuff. It was about vulnerability.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Lily shared her past. And she made a point of saying she didn't try to hide the mess. She let him see the real you.
Wow. That takes courage.
It really does. And Jake recognized that. He said he knew he was falling when she told him about her past and didn't pretty it up.
And for her?
For Lily, the fact that Jake stayed after hearing the ugly parts, that's when she knew it wasn't just, a crush.
So it wasn't about presenting perfection. It was about revealing the imperfections.
Well, exactly. And Jake staying, that wasn't just nice for Lily. It fundamentally showed him what acceptance in a relationship could look like. It's not about trauma dumping, mind you. It seems like there was this mutual receptivity. He could hold that vulnerability.
That makes sense. It transforms it from maybe a burden into like a foundation for trust.
Perfectly put. And it ties into how they described falling in love. Not like a sudden lightning strike.
No. How then?
More like waves. It came in waves, they said, built from lots of little moments.
Like what kind of moments?
Oh, really simple things. Lily sharing your fries, Jake walking you home in the rain.
The everyday stuff.
Exactly. They emphasized no big fireworks, just a quiet, steady pull. It's quite relatable, isn't it? Not always the big Hollywood drama.
Much more real life for most of us.
And that leads to Lily describing this feeling of safety, peace, feeling like home.
Where she didn't have to, shrink or explain myself.
Yes, and that's profound, right? That feeling that love gets real when you're not just seen, but understood.
Yeah.
Deeply understood. That's the anchor.
Okay, so this deep emotional connection built on vulnerability, understanding, it's beautiful. But relationships have other dimensions too.
Indeed they do. And Jake and Lily were also very open about how their physical intimacy evolved alongside the emotional bond.
Right, the spicy part, as I think the source called it.
Yes, they contrasted it really clearly with their past experiences. Sex before had sometimes been, well, just a thing, or casual.
Or even like a performance, checking boxes.
Exactly, disconnected from real emotional presence, which really highlights how different it became for them together.
So their first time together,
Yeah.
how did that go? Smooth and perfect.
Not quite. Refreshingly human, actually. They described it as clumsy but honest. Jake apparently dropped his phone,
Oh, no.
and Lily got a leg cramp at some point.
Okay, this sounds way more realistic. And how did they handle it?
They laughed through it.
That says a lot, doesn't it? Being able to laugh in those moments.
It says everything about comfort and acceptance. But what Lily said really changed things, what made it transformative, was Jake.
How so?
He kept asking if she was okay. He slowed down. He genuinely cared. Her words. It changed everything.
Ah, so it wasn't about technical skill. It was about presence,
Yeah.
care.
Precisely. That's the core insight here, I think. Sex with love, it's different. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. That attentiveness, that care, it elevates everything.
They mentioned some specific details too, didn't they, about touch and eye contact?
They did really evocative things, like Jake touching Lily, like I'm fragile, but also like I'm yours. The eye contact, whispering her name.
And Lily knowing instinctively when to pull him closer or just hold him?
Yeah, that's attunement, right? That deep understanding without words. It shows something far beyond just the physical act.
And then there's the after part, the cuddle.
Which they called top tier, and stressed how important it was just lying there, talking, breathing together. That's where they felt the trust, the comfort, the safety really deepened.
So real intimacy isn't just the act itself.
Not at all. It's the whole experience. The trust, the safety, and they also mentioned the other stuff, the little adventure, the teasing, the build-up.
The glances across the room.
Exactly. That continuous dance of desire and connection that doesn't always need words.
So if someone listening wants to cultivate that deeper intimacy, what was Jake and Lily's advice? It sounded pretty straightforward.
It did. Deceptively so, maybe. Start with your connection. Be honest. Be soft. And for real, talk about what you like.
Be honest, be soft, talk about it. Is it really that simple?
Well, the simplicity is kind of its power, I think. It cuts through assumptions. They also said foreplay matters. Laughter matters. No shame, no pressure, just discovery and love.
No shame, no pressure, just discovery.
Yeah. The key takeaway seems to be that it's not a destination, right? It's an ongoing exploration you do together. Requires talking, being vulnerable about what you want, what feels good, and focusing on connection, not performance. Co-creating that safe space.
Okay, so intimacy became this whole other layer reinforcing their bond. But love isn't always intense moments, is it? It's also just daily life.
Absolutely. And this is where Jake and Lily show how love moves from that initial passion into like a really solid partnership.
How do they describe that everyday love?
Through really concrete, almost mundane examples. Lily making Jake's coffee exactly how he likes it.
Ah, the coffee order test.
Sort of. Or Jake rubbing her back without being asked. Those consistent, let me know when you get home, safe texts.
The little things.
Exactly. They literally said little things. Every day, that's love. It's like emotional compound interest, you know. Small, regular deposits that build huge value over time.
That's a great way to put it. Those small acts showing you're present, you care.
They're powerful affirmations.
But life isn't perfect. Do they talk about arguments, conflict?
They did, very openly. Admitted they've had fights, even days where we didn't speak, which sounds pretty real.
Definitely. But what was the key thing?
The key was we kept showing up, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard.
That persistence. Showing up.
Yeah, it ties into their insight that love isn't perfect, but it's persistent. It's not just about sticking it out. It's actively choosing their relationship, staying present in arguments, managing to apologize even if you're still mad.
Holding each other when words fail.
Right. That commitment to repair, to weathering things together, that's what builds resilience. That's mature love, isn't it?
It really sounds like it. So wrapping this up, what's the big picture here for listeners? Their final thoughts?
They were very grounded. Said real love exists, but, and this is important, it takes work, patience, honesty, and soft hands.
Soft hands. I like that. It's tangible.
It is. It cuts through the fairy tale stuff. And they said when it's really right, you feel it deep down. In your chest. In your silence.
In the way they remember your weird coffee order. Back to the coffee.
Huh? Yes. It crystallizes their main point. Love isn't loud. It's consistent. It's this quiet, steady foundation built on actually knowing and being known.
Wow. So we've really traced their journey, haven't we? from that awkward, fumbling start
Yeah, through those quiet waves of falling.
to the deep vulnerability and transformative intimacy.
And landing in that everyday consistency, the persistence.
It's quite a story.
We really hope hearing Jake and Lily's experience encourages you, the listener, to maybe reflect on love in your own life. Think about vulnerability, think about presence, think about persistence. Are those perhaps the real measures, more than just, intensity?
Yeah, moving beyond maybe the fleeting highs. So here's a final thought to leave you with. How might focusing more on those little things, those quiet, consistent acts of care and recognition, how might that change how you understand or even experience love? Something to